things are caught, not taught. Like you can sit here all the time and try to teach, but if you're not living it out and doing it yourself, like things are caught, not taught. And we've seen that with the kids. It's like if we were sitting here trying to teach the kids, like, okay, you need to eat this amount of protein and this, but we weren't doing it. Like they're not gonna be doing that. So but now they've caught it.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Rebel Show. So as you can see, we are not in our studio. We are actually here in Miami at the convention center with the ICES trade show. We are not a vendor this time. I actually had a speaking event, and which is officially done. I did it twice. So yesterday which was Sunday. 2:00, and then today at 11. There's Ashley behind the camera with her Diet Pepsi. One day, it is my goal to buy you a lifetime supply of Diet Pepsi. I just think that'd be the coolest thing ever. Like pallets of like every couple months, like you get a pallet of Diet Pepsi. Like I want this is remember that don't edit this out, editing Ashley, because I want this to be recorded and stamped in time.
I think Miami's just one big squirrel moment for Bree.
It really is. Something's up with Miami. I don't know who I am, what I'm doing. The time change. The time change. Okay. Anyways, let me get back on track. So. I was invited to be a speaker, which was super cool. So we got to choose whether we wanted a booth comped or my flight. So we chose to just focus on this because it was my first speaking engagement. I've been really nervous. I'm really glad that we're past it. Learned a lot. So we'll kind of go over that. And then also with traveling, we've only done, as you guys know, our like local shows. So we've done Vegas, we've done Long Beach. Those are ones we've done quite a few times. And then we recently did for the first time Portland and Sacramento, and all of those are drivable. So now we're learning, and this is something that you guys can relate to as business owners, is like the new obstacles that come up and like just doing things that you have no idea where to start or even how to get started on figuring out how to accomplish it. Yeah. That's one thing that we're working on is the shipping.
And then preparation for those things as well.
Yes. So with this speech, I definitely realized I have a lot more preparation, but also at the same time, I don't regret this at all. Like I do wish I was a little bit more prepared, but I honestly did. How many times did I sit down and like try to prepare for this?
Something was like a mental block on this one for sure.
There was, but also I didn't know what to expect. So now I feel like since I just jumped in and did it, that I better know how to prepare for the next one.
Yeah, no,
you know, because now I was able to see where I'm lacking and like what I did well. Like I think the story is good, but it was the structuring and the delivery.
Structuring and like the time frames and the delivery, and just well, I mean, there's great like points in those conversations though, or the speech that you had. Like there's so many girls that came up to you and that I heard in the audience saying that, oh wow, that's huge. And you know, that girl that came up to you, I don't know what that was about in the hallway after.
She said I inspired her. She's an 18-year-old young SD. I was an 18-year-old. No, I was 19, but still.
Yeah, see, like all those things.
So that's
even
pretty
if it's
cool.
just showing up for those few girls and that can actually take something away from what you had to say. I think that's the biggest part and why we do all this.
Well, and like what you said to the man in the back, so there's interpreters here. That's something new for us here in Miami. A lot of Spanish speaking, which is super cool. So each of my workshops and my speaking thing, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what to call it.
Just your
a
speech.
talk?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was talking on stage. Anyways, there's interpreters and stuff, and you told them how you do anything is how you do everything, and like that's a huge takeaway for you guys too. I don't care if you only have one client on your books so far, like you treat that person like royalty, and that's something that Bedros was talking about in our episode. If you guys watched our interview with our business coach, is like I asked him, how do you provide an excellent service to your clients? Because he had clients as well for himself because he was a personal trainer. But it's like you treat every single person like royalty. And it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. So even though this one was really small, like there was maybe 8 people in the audience.
The first day, I think at the workshop, you had like close to 45. I counted. And, you know, the speech like the first day was about like maybe like 15, 20, would you guys say? And then today was probably like 6.
Yeah, maybe 7.
Maybe 7, yeah. But I mean, like I said, like that girl at the end in the hallway pulled you aside and told you that.
Yeah.
That you inspired her, and I don't know what else was said. And, I heard a couple other ladies in the back I forget exactly what you said, but everything you want on hard, or everything hard. Your dreams are on the other side are hard. And she's like, oh, wow, that's a big takeaway, and then wrote that down. So
people were taking notes.
Yeah, a couple people were.
I like that.
So I think just like for the few people that got really big things out of it, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know how many people they pass that information along to, and
the ripple
effect of that. So
that's been something really cool to I've always heard of it and known it, but then like to actually be living in it, the ripple effect. I mean, even with you, with Chance is a prime example. How many followers on Instagram do you have?
I don't know,
like
maybe a couple
300
hundred or something.
400. Yeah. But when he does post like his health journey and fitness journey and mindset change, how you have so many people reaching out to you that they've changed the way, and this podcast episode does not have a theme to it. Okay, we're just kind of chatting, so I hope you guys get some sort of value out of this for whatever. But that just seeing the ripple effect that you've had on people, because they've made changes, and then they tell you how they've inspired their family members, and it's just it's so cool.
No, yeah, and those posts, I mean, I don't post that for myself or whatever they're super awkward for me, like to like be flexing in the camera and stuff, and like posting that stuff and being another dude at the gym flexing the camera and stuff. But I only do it because I do have so many people reach out to me and like tell me how I motivated them, or they've seen where I was back in the past and where I'm at now, and they ask like, hey, how'd you get started? Like, what happened? What'd you change? And so it's pretty cool to like see that and help them out. And then I've had so many dudes reach out and be like, dude, like my wife's involved with it. The kids are meal prepping with us. Like, we're going. He's like, thanks for, giving me some advice and where to start.
Hey guys, quick interruption to the show to bring you a offer you won't be able to resist. If you have not yet tried Rebel Wax, then go ahead and visit our site, lashandwaxoc.com, and use code TRYREBEL, all one word, code TRYREBEL, to claim 2 free sample size bags. It's crazy. All these like one-liners and little inspo things I've heard from all these motivational speakers are like really coming to life for us in the more present
we
time.
Live through it. We're living it, Mm-hmm. So and that's why we like to share it with others and post these things on Instagram and on social media and stuff like that, so others could get takeaways and help and change their lives too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest takeaways that you guys can take away from this experience that we've had so far too is just getting started. And it's what did Bedros say? It's ready, shoot, aim. So it's like just get started. I feel like so many of us, and you guys have heard me say this time and time again, it's like we prepare. We're researching for, sometimes months or years, like getting prepared to start the business, getting prepared to do whatever it is, do the thing. It could be a marathon. It could be getting into the gym. It could, whatever it is that you guys, I know you guys have so many saved TikToks or Instagram posts or whatever, notes taken of whatever it is that you're researching. But just get started. And then that's where the learning begins. And that's why I don't regret how I showed up here. I know I'm going to look back and watch the speech and cringe, but, knowing that it was impactful, and I am talking about something like it's my story, so you can't really like mess up your own story.
No.
And to know that there were people impacted in a positive way, I'm good with that. And then now, like since I've gotten started, like I said before, now I know better how to prepare for next time, what it is that I need to work on and where my shortcomings are. I think something else that's really important for us in this industry and just as people trying to better ourselves in general is it's the self-awareness too.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to be self-aware for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of people aren't.
I think you did great on the speech and everything. There's things that we need to obviously tighten up. Like you said, you're going to watch and learn and see what, how you can tighten up the story a little bit more and just the big takeaways people can get from the story.
Yeah.
Like when you're telling the story about your grandma, how she went through like having to move in the middle of the night to, and to like get away, like sneak away from their landlord and stuff, like
I was wondering, I'm like, is this incriminating? But they're not here anymore, so I can't get in trouble.
No, for sure. And then the takeaway from that I got was like her mom was just doing what she needed to do to like provide and take care of her kids. Yeah. And that's what this whole thing is. And I think that's what's gotten passed down to you, through the generation, is just like doing the hard stuff, doing the uncomfortable stuff, doing the unsexy stuff, like our coach likes to say. Yeah. And like, I'm not saying like that's all of it, but it's just like doing the stuff that others aren't willing to do because they might be embarrassed or ashamed to like talk about it. Yeah. And so I think that's a huge takeaway from that story that I got, And
that was something one of the girls yesterday asked in the crowd was like, how do you get past that, like being nervous and embarrassed? And I was like, embarrassment is the price of admission. Like it really is. And what's going to happen? Like that's what I always try to tell myself and tell Chance, like if it doesn't equate to death, like we're going to be all right. And this is why doing hard things is, and I was encouraging her, like pick a challenge. Like I understand now why our coach really challenged us to the marathon. Yeah. And it was because you raise your thermostat and threshold for pain and suffering. Now it doesn't always have to be physical pain. Mental pain and suffering can sometimes be a whole hell of a lot harder and worse than the physical. Before this speech, with how nervous I was, I told him, and I didn't think I'd ever say that, I'd rather be running that marathon again. Yeah. Like I was really nervous to do this, and then look, I'm here still. I survived. Yeah, definitely. Am I? I don't know.
It's about putting,
I'm in a fog.
Yeah, it's about putting in those reps, and you did. And so there's gonna be a lot of like learning lessons from that by watching the video and stuff, and even from this whole experience of coming down to Miami with our team. Alexis is here, Ashley's here, like all of it.
Thank you guys, by the way, for being here.
Thank you guys for being here.
I told them they're like the best support bra ever.
Yeah. So it's awesome. So I mean, there's a lot of lessons
learned
on
in
that
side.
Too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the first anything's gonna suck, you guys. Like it's okay. Like get past it. Okay. How can we sit here and tell our clients and try to convince them to get their first Brazilian? We know it's going to be painful. We know it's going to suck. They might have some regrets in the middle of the process, but afterwards the results are wonderful, right? Like this is such a parallel. Like the first time you provide a service, it might suck. The first Instagram post you put out is going to suck. The first podcast is going to suck. The first speech is going to suck. But if you also, it's coming back to that self-awareness, if you know the value you have to add and to provide, like lead with that. We need to stop looking at what's in this for me. Like I was trying so hard, and I learned this from my coach, to not get on that stage of thinking about what is this for me? Like what do I want to, I'm not here to boast about our story and our success and stuff. It's what is it? What's in it for the person in the crowd, and like if I can just impact one person in a positive way. So like who am I to rob someone of that blessing because of my just insecurity or being scared and nervous? And it's like just be willing to like suck at first. Like it's okay to not be good at something.
Yeah.
The only way to get better is by sucking. Like I always revert back to the first time we went to the gym. Like I was so awkward. Like I didn't know how to use a lot of the equipment, and I was so uncomfortable. I felt like all eyes were on me. But like then I realized, first of all, no one really gives a language.
I think people just get caught up in like trying to match up to other people and where they're at in their journeys, and they don't think about like, oh well, they just got started one day, they took the class or that boring course or whatever it is to do whatever the thing is that they're trying to do. So I think everybody just needs to appreciate where they're at in their journeys and like just get started and kind of go through their own growth experiences and listen to the right people to like take away the like big key factors of having to cross and like go around or go under hurdles that they could avoid, but I think there is something to be said for people to go through the trenches a little bit on their own, so then they could realize why they need a coach or need somebody, a mentor or somebody like that, to realize the importance of it.
Yeah, but it's good. The trenches is where a lot of learning is done.
For sure. And just because you have a mentor or coach doesn't mean you're going to be out of the trenches. Like you're still going to be like head down in the trenches, doing the hard work, doing the stuff, because it does depend on you for your own success. Yeah.
Well, Chance had a really good thought, and then I had a really good thought, but it quickly left my brain. But one of the things that we were talking about and that I mentioned on stage was about showing up for yourself too. So one of the things with our coach that I noticed is once we wired over that money, like we took action immediately without our first phone call, without like ever talking to him. I think I like shot him a DM on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
but
it's funny with everything.
Yeah, because you feel accountable now.
Yeah, just in the gym, hitting the weights harder, going through the reps, like doing all the sets and all the reps, and like just and before we even talked to the guy.
Yeah. And we like felt like we were already like different people all of a sudden.
Organizing stuff in the warehouse differently, and just like
you built the office.
No, we knocked out the office. Like that was crazy.
So it's like a lot of times you guys know what to do. It's just you're not doing it. So okay, this was one of the things I shared on stage was like if a friend calls you and they're like, hey, I need to be at the airport at 5 a.m, you're like, okay, yes, like I will be there. Your alarm is set, your clothes are laid out, like you're preparing yourself to fulfill your commitment, right? And your obligation that you've made. But we don't do that for ourselves. How many times have you, and I'm not just picking on you, like I'm saying this to myself too, have said like, okay, I'm going to stick to my nutrition program. I'm going to stick to this fitness program. I'm going to be consistent with marketing myself on social media to gain new clients. And then you don't, because you're not holding yourself accountable. You're breaking promises that you make to yourself, but we don't do that to other people. Now, some of us do, but most of us with good morals, character, and integrity, when you make a promise to a friend or family member, like we keep them and we feel more obligated. And a lot of times with a coach, it doesn't mean you're going to not go through the hard stuff anymore. It's just you're going to feel a better sense of obligation and commitment to going through the hard, overcoming the hurdles. But then, and you also feel like, eyes are on and someone's watching. Yeah. And then though, with the coach, you truly aren't having to go through everything alone because they've been there, done that.
Yeah.
So it's important when looking for a coach though, first of all, that because this is another thing I was saying is that the message is like the same really. I'm realizing with all these different people we've met and come in contact with, like the messaging and the strategy and like the blueprint is pretty much the same, even no matter what industry you're in. It really is the same thing, but the delivery of the information is very different. So finding a coach that you can like actually like hear it enough to actually implement it,
gravitate to and match up with, and something that you have in common with for sure.
That's why we like Bedros, because he's very just like militant and like
he's not in the beauty industry whatsoever. I guess fitness and stuff, but he's a total different industry than the wax industry. Yeah. But we just like his method of delivering the information.
I'm one like if I did a workout class, like I'd be in the boot camps where the guy's yelling at you versus like a Pilates class where like find within.
That's why I still haven't found a fitness coach. I mean, I have my buddy Jimmy back home from where we're from, but that's an online thing. And I was trying to find someone to be in the gym to be like, get to
Yell
it, and like, be right there yelling, and it's hard. And the dudes that I have found, there's like, good rep. You could do one more if you want, I was like, no, I'm looking for that dude to like stack the weights and like force me to do 10 more.
I'll do it.
You know what I mean?
I'll yell at you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah, but no, having a coach and a mentor has been, it's been life-changing for us. You guys have seen, especially if you've been following me for any amount of time, like the growth has been insane over the past year. I almost can't even comprehend the growth. But it feels so weird to sit here and say all this because I still know, like I know we have had success. Like I know that. And I don't want to discredit that at all because I don't want any of you that are like, I'm still in school to be like, what? She doesn't think she's because I know where we're at is where a lot of people do aspire to be. But I also know where I want to go. So I still feel like such the low man on the totem pole, especially with the rooms we're in now. Yeah. With Bedros, it's like it's not laughable, but for being in those rooms, we're newborn babies.
Just to think of it, when was our first trade show? When was that? Like 4 years ago now?
No, because COVID.
Alexis, 3 years ago now?
Yeah, because we would have done Vegas 3 times.
So we did Vegas for the first time 3 years ago. And Danny, the lady that owns this trade show, went and saw us at that booth in Vegas. And she invited us. So our very first trade show, the first time we ever set up a booth, very first time we've all experienced a beauty trade show. And we got invited to Long Beach, and then from Long Beach, we kept going back to Long Beach, and now we're talking at one of her trade shows in Miami. Like, that's so crazy.
Valid.
That, you know,
that is crazy.
Like 3 years ago, like we were just newbies. We were the fresh fish in the trade shows. Yeah.
The sharks were circling.
We had these ridiculous looking racks and like that we bought. Oh my gosh, and like it was just,
we
were
crazy. Using
crazy.
Wax pots from other companies.
So that goes to say.
And we only had pink shimmer.
Yeah. We had a lot of pink shimmer. We
only had that.
We had a lot of pink shimmer at that booth. Yes.
Because it's all we had.
Yeah, a lot. We had like 20. I think that's when we had 20-pound bags and stuff.
Oh my God! Why
and
did we
bought
do that?
We brought like 500
so
bags
dumb.
of it. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
I don't know.
But see, we got started. We were ready. We thought, not really, actually. We shot. We missed. Then we re-aimed.
Yeah. No, we got started. That's what my point was, is that we just got started, and then look at us where we're at now. Like you're speaking at one of her big events in Miami Beach that they flew you out to. So you never know, what's going to happen with you just getting started and doing the hard stuff and doing the things that, you don't want to do, really.
Also, taking opportunity as they come, even when you're scared and don't feel prepared. Because I saw this TikTok video. There's this guy on TikTok. I wish I knew his name. Shoot. Oh, I forget. But he goes around and he asks people what their dreams are. And this one girl, I just saw it last night. She said her dream was to be a singer. And he's like, okay, go ahead and sing. I have 9.5 million followers. Like, here's your opportunity. Like, because he actually makes it happen. He connects people with the right people and like whatever. Like, he could have made, that would have been it. That was her, like, that silver bullet that I'll get back to the silver bullet thing, but that was her silver bullet, and she was too nervous and didn't take that opportunity. And it just, like, I wish there's this movie with Gwen something, but it's like it's showing two parallel lives based on decisions that are made, how it turns out if she makes this one slight decision versus another, and you're seeing both play out at the same time. It's like, dude, that girl's life would have been changed. And that's one thing I do have to give myself props for, is that we take the opportunity. I almost like don't think about it and just do it. And then that's why later I'm like, how do I get myself in these weird situations?
And all these situations have started with us not wanting to do them.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't, you didn't want to come down here and do it. Like, you did. We saw the opportunity, but it's like made you nervous and you're scared.
I want to be the one who wants to do it, but
exactly.
I'm, like,
but then we do it, and then look at the outcome. We always receive, So it's a lot to be said, like doing the scary things, doing the hard things. Everything that you want is on the other side of that hard and the other side of that scary. Like that first trade show in Vegas, it's like, dude, what the hell? We could just stay back at our warehouse and make just as much money. And we're just like, no, we need to show up, but we didn't feel our best, or we didn't look our best, or whatever. And we just had all these obstacles and hurdles in our heads of just like showing up, and we're just like, no. And then we just kept packing like our trade show booth stuff, like, through those weeks, and then we're just like, yeah, we're doing it. Yep. And then we got Gabe and Alexis, our brother, our brother and sister-in-law, our Bree's brother and our sister-in-law, and we're just like, we're making it more real to force ourselves to do it.
Yeah.
So we're just like, all right, well, they're showing up, and we got to show up.
I remember when I called you and said, or
exactly.
Maybe I called Gabe. We were on the 97 about to get off at Empire.
Yeah.
There's always these weird little moments that, like, now looking back, that were like turning points, where I remember, like, I remember where I was when I told my grandpa about being fired from European Wax Center. Like, it's weird. Like, I remember exactly, like, where I was. And there's so many times that even now, and this is what's so cool, this is how you build confidence, is stacking those little wins, doing the thing, keeping the promises that you make to yourself. But now I find myself saying to him, remember this conversation, because it's going to happen. Like, okay, this is so out there, but I am determined. I want to ride on a pink private jet. I don't give a if it's mine or not, but I want to fly in a pink private jet. Yeah. And I've said that a couple times this week. I'm like, remember this conversation. So I don't know. It might be a couple years. It might be 10 years. It might be 20 years. But at some point in my life, we are going to fly on a pink private jet. Well, and I'll remember I was in Miami when we said that.
It's about taking those steps to make it more real and make it more happen. That's what I was saying about, like, inviting them to go to the show, booking the hotel, like, making it happen, doing those steps. And like making it more real, so we're like, okay, now we're kind of forced to. Now we don't have an exit plan. This is what we have to go through and do.
Yeah.
And so
it goes back to being committed more to other people than yourselves. Because if it was just us, it's so much easier to back out.
Yep.
Like the Portland show.
Yeah.
We backed out of that a couple of times.
Yeah.
But also, it didn't really make a lot of sense at that time. So
no, it kept coming up, and like our business has to take priority over stuff,
Yeah.
And so
because we didn't have the team yet, but still, it does. When you bring other people in, it does
bring other people in. So then that's a big point of like bringing in a coach and a mentor, so that they go through the trenches and the foxholes with you, versus you just doing it alone, and you are held to a certain standard or accountability.
Yeah.
Through that stuff.
Yeah. And then, so finding the right one, though, like you need to make sure you're looking at people who are actually doing the thing that you want to do instead of just teaching theory. There's so many, like what Bedros calls gurus out there. And it's actually what really kept me for a while from even wanting to provide coaching. Because I'm like, everyone and their mother is a coach now, lifestyle coach, mindset coach. It just feels like everyone's a coach. But I also have been doing coaching for a long time for free, and I'm realizing how valuable my time really is, because then it was taking us away from the business. So I'm like, all right. And this was one thing that Bedros was like, you need to be really relentless with your time and learn like where to say no and stuff. So I do need to be charging for that at this point. But honestly, I have been doing coaching for a long time. Yeah. I just didn't really like label it.
Yeah. Less less mentoring and more coaching you've done. Yeah. So you've done
a lot
more.
I think the opposite, more like mentoring.
Well, I think because like you're coaching through like lessons and hands-on stuff a lot more, and then now you're getting more in the realm of like mentoring people going through business and all that stuff, versus like starting their business and like doing the technique in the treatment room. So I would say coaching you've done more of, and now you're getting more in the realm of mentoring.
Yeah. But I have for a few years been helping like young entrepreneurs.
No, for sure.
The point is, it's like, and I'm not sitting here trying to like, I don't know, find your person. You guys will find the right people. And I'm also very honest when, actually, I've talked to a couple people who they were interested in coaching. I'm like, that's not where your biggest bottleneck. Bottleneck just means pain point, struggle, issue that you're dealing with. Where their biggest bottleneck was, I didn't feel like I was the right one. So, but I have resources for other people who, so Tanya is one who, if you're wanting to start like hiring employees and stuff, that she would be one I would really
Tanya from behind the just the strip. Yeah.
Because she's built a really great like team base of employees that have stuck around. That's the biggest thing, is there's such a high turnover, usually because the owners are terrible and the pay sucks. So she's really like figured out the right structure and like way to do that. So like if that was one of the people's goals, I was like, no, I think you should reach out to her. Now sales and marketing, that's my thing. Building a personal brand, like the mindset stuff, and really just like, I would say scaling your solo aesthetics practice is like, that's where my zone of genius is.
For sure.
But you want to look at people and like, okay, are they actually doing the thing? Like, oh my gosh, there's someone local that people always bring. I'm like, I don't understand, but has she or he, I'm not, done that they're trying to teach? Like, I don't see them doing that. So it just isn't lining up and making sense to me. And that's what Bedros always talks about with these gurus. It's like, they're trying to teach you how to build a multi-million-dollar company, but where's their multi-million-dollar company? So just be careful with that. Like, look beyond the social media, because we can all make ourselves look really good on social media.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with people doing that, they're doing a disservice to people that actually need the true mentors and the true coaches in life. And they're just watering down the industry. And like, and people are really put off by that because they've invested money with those kind of people and those kind of programs and stuff. And now they're scared to like be like, what's the real deal then? Like, how do I, find the real person? So I think like you really, like we were talking about, find who you match up with, who you could, and you could see that they've done the thing that you're wanting to do. So for sure. And then something that you kind of align with, definitely morals and values with, and someone that you could see you winning with.
It's very, very much parallels like with providing services too, because it does a disservice, because then that person might be scarred for life from ever wanting to hire another coach. And it's like, it might be that next coach that like really helps you cross over to that next level. But since you were burned by someone else, it's like now you're like scared to pull the trigger again and to actually take action. And same with us. Like, that's why I'm such a proponent of mastering the technique before going solo, because I can't tell you how many women I've talked to who are like, oh, I had a Brazilian one time and it was absolutely terrible and it scarred me for life. I'll never try it again. It's like, oh, that sucks so bad, because I know if you came and were waxed by me, that or a lot of you guys that have like really put the time and effort to perfect your technique, that they would be like sold. Like, they'd be like, this is awesome. It solves so many issues, not having to shave every 2 to 3 days, avoiding the breakouts and the razor burn and the itchiness that comes with shaving, never feeling like you're completely like bare and smooth. Like, there's so many great results that they're missing out on, and then you guys are missing out on a great potential client too. So it's like, it could be the same thing. It's like, we need to be just careful about what it is that we like, lead with integrity. And it comes back to the self-awareness thing too. I'd say, like, some of these coaches, like, they're just not self-aware. Well, and not just coaches. That's just a topic that we're talking about.
Just a lot of people that they want to just, it's like a money grab thing for them.
Oh my gosh.
Versus, like, if they really take the time to study and put in the work themselves and truly learn the craft or the business or whatever it is that they're doing, if they really invest in themselves truly, I think they give back to people and add value to people, and more money will come their way.
There's a Zig Ziglar quote, and he says, you can have anything you want in life if you help other people achieve what it is they want. And that's one thing we've always led with. Like, we never weren't like intentionally trying to create a product for the industry. We solved a problem I had, and then we realized others had the same problem. So we ended up like indirectly like solving their problem as well. And then we saw the opportunity and we took it. Did it bless our family financially? Heck yeah. But that wasn't like that wasn't the driving force of the wax pads. And then same thing with the wax. That wasn't the driving force. Of course, once I saw the interest in it, I was like, wow, there's huge potential in this as well. And it can actually get me out of the treatment room. And at that time I was traveling between Bend and Newport like weekly for a little while, and then every other week, and then monthly. But it kept me away from my family for 2.5 years. You guys experienced so many firsts in Bend without me being there, and that is absolutely not what I wanted when I went into business for myself. That's how, like, I grew up. I was raised by my grandparents. They adopted me. They were very, like, really in the height of their career at that time. So I was, like, in essence, for a while raised by nannies, and that's something I never wanted for my kids. And then I found myself in that situation, traveling back and forth, and it was just doing what we needed to do. Because when we moved to Bend is when my client-based business in Newport was like at its peak and doing its best, and it was providing for our family. We were able to take less moving jobs and then eventually shut down the moving company and be able to move. So it's like I couldn't give it up at that time, but I was just seeing like, damn it, I'm exactly where I didn't want to be. So with all that being said, I did, once we developed the wax, solved the issue that I was having, because I was working not working, but I guess kind of, I was a brand ambassador for so many companies, and they just didn't check all the boxes. Like, there was always some sort of issue. So we solved that, and then I saw the potential. I'm like, oh my gosh, this could get me out of the treatment room and focus on my true passion, which is education.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's been a blessing. It's been really good. All right. I think we rambled for enough, long enough, but this is fun. I'm actually going to do another podcast episode. I'm going to be interviewing Luba from Bright later today. If any of you that are watching this are going to be at a future trade show, and like, I would like to start interviewing people, or let me know, who would you guys like me to interview? That's a good question. That's the question I should be asking.
Maybe we cruise around this trade show and find somebody.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. On the podcast hunts.
Yeah. We rambled a lot on this one.
No, there's good points.
There's good little points. All right. Well, I hope you guys found some sort of value. If you did, please let me know in the comments. I really like to hear when people came up after the talk. I don't know what to call it. The speech. I don't know why it's so awkward for me I don't know. Anyways, and like told me the points that really hit home for them. It's like, ooh, it gives me so much motivation and positive feedback too, to know like where to continue going with this. Cause I'm not doing this just to listen to myself ramble on. I actually hate the sound of my voice. I think it's very weird on camera. But I want to make sure you guys are getting tons of value from this too. So if you could like, subscribe, share, what's all the YouTube things, like, turn note of the the bell dinging thing, all the things. I would appreciate it. And then we will see you back next week.
You know what I mean?
Bye.